Hey everyone, happy Sunday. Welcome to our weekly prep rally. You guys know the drill. Head to prepandrally.com, subscribe if you are not yet a subscriber, log into your meal prep downloads tab and download this week's PDF. We're about to tackle week 38. Such a goodie. You guys actually in the Facebook group reminded me of this meal prep that I actually came up with over a year ago when I was first testing out the concept. So some of you have seen this menu before, very few of you, and few of you had suggested I bring it back because it was such a goodie. So let me just tell you this menu so you can just get excited. We have Bibimbap bowls with steak, quinoa, vegetables, and this Bibimbap sauce, which basically is like a steak and rice bowl. We're doing it with quinoa today. You could swap out rice instead, totally your call. So good. You can make an oozy egg to go on top. It's amazing. And then we have adobo drumsticks with roasted cauliflower and a tomato salad. Tiki Bowls, which are a plant-based bowl. Cauliflower in there. You have your grain. You have this amazing Raita sauce. Totally inspired by a meal I had also about a year ago. It was so good. I had to recreate it. So you guys are going to love that bowl. You can also do it with naan bread. You could put it in pitas. And then we have these loaded sheet pan sweet potato nachos, which I think is the reason why you guys wanted me to bring this menu back because they're addictive. They're so good. So let's bang this thing out. We are going to tackle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different items. 2 of the items you're just marinating today. 2 of them are sauces, 3 of them are sauces, and then 3 things you're actually going to cook. So it's gonna go by pretty quickly, super simple. As always, my goal is to get you in and out of the kitchen because it's summer and nobody wants to be stuck in their kitchen. So I'm gonna get you through it. This is week 38. Let's get to it. We're gonna start with our sweet potatoes. I have my oven preheated to 425 degrees and I'm just going to start cutting up my sweet potatoes, okay? If you guys have not joined our affiliate program, do so because every single time you share your link and somebody subscribes using your link, you make $5 and they get 20% off their subscription. So it's kind of a win-win. A lot of you guys are using it. So just wanted to mention it again because you can make some real cash there. Super fun. And just by referring people to Prep and Rally, which is cool. All right, so I'm just taking my sweet potatoes. These are Japanese sweet potatoes. My girls have become obsessed with these lately, which is why I'm using them. They're like these like white, almost like drier and a little bit starchier than a regular sweet potato. I kind of think of it as like a sweet potato and a regular potato had a baby and morphed into the most delicious potato out there. But use any kind of sweet potato you like, or if you prefer regular potatoes, it's totally your call. So I'm just cutting it into wedges. Oven's preheated to 425. We're gonna roast these off. Okay, this is like the funkiest looking potato. So I don't really even know what to do with you. I'm just gonna cut off your little tip there and then there we go. All right. So be sure, if you're watching this video, be sure you are subscribed to my channel so you can get notifications every single time a new video goes live. We have so many great videos coming your way, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. I mean, what do we even do with this guy? Okay, let's throw you on there. So yeah, be sure to subscribe. If you are not yet part of our Facebook community, search Prep and Rally on Facebook. And you could like the page and then join our exclusive group. It's the most amazing group ever. It seriously wows me every single time I'm on there. All right, I'm doing slightly less potatoes than the recipe. As always, adjust to make it work for you. If you're not going to be eating all of them, always make any kind of adjustments. And as I always say, if you could buy like baby potatoes that you don't have to cut or any kind of shortcut you can take, it's not a cheat, it's a shortcut. So if you could buy things pre-washed, pre-peeled, pre-grated, anywhere you can cheat a little bit, more power to you, okay? Because you're gonna save time in this prep rally. All right, we try to keep it under an hour, which I think is pretty stinking amazing to begin with, but the more you buy pre-done, so like in today's case, I bought my cauliflower already washed and cleaned and cut into florets. You know how much time that saves you? Just pop it right in a sheet pan and throw it in the oven. All right. that's it. He's ready to go. While my hands are slightly dirty, I'm going to get my cauliflower done at the same time because we like to do that. Usually I like oil and season everything at the same time, but forgot about it. But whenever you can, just get your hands dirty once. That's even better. So the cauliflower, I'm like scooting down to the bottom. I think I'm skipping over. Is that supposed to be next? Hold on. No, sorry. The quinoa is going to go next, but I'm just skipping to the cauliflower really quick just because it's going to be easier. I'm going to throw them all in the oven at the same time. So I've salted my cauliflower now. Take your oil. Ideally, you do all this at the same time so you only get your hands dirty once. Okay? The recipe also calls for like turmeric and maple syrup, which I highly recommend doing. It's so good that way, but I know that my girls prefer it like this, just like a plain roasted cauliflower. So I'm just gonna go plain for them for right now, but do what works for you. But anywhere that you can just save a trip to the sink, that's the prep and rally way. Why wash your hands twice if you could just do it once? Boom. And make sure all your cauliflower is a similar size so it cooks pretty evenly. And that's it. And these extra large sheet pans, this is on my Amazon shop, and it's also linked on my Instagram in my highlights, and it's also on my website in the shop section. They're the USA pans, extra large. They're my favorite because you could literally fit like 5 heads of cauliflower on this one sheet pan. It's insane. Okay, they're amazing. So pop these both in the oven. Sweet potatoes are going to take a little longer than the cauliflower, but I like when my cauliflower gets super soft anyways. So I'm just going to set my timer for about 40 minutes. It's on 425 degrees. Let it go for about 40 minutes or so and then go from there. So be sure you're just checking in on it, okay? Cleaning off my little workstation. That's also another good tip. I mean, if you're working in a professional kitchen, always got to keep your workstation neat. Working as a private chef for 7-8 years, however long it was, I also had to always be neat because people could come into the kitchen anytime. Plus it keeps things safe and healthy, and it also keeps your area organized so you could function and not have a huge mess at the end. Okay, so clean as you go. It's much easier that way, I promise you. All right, so quinoa. We're going to number 2 now. We've already done the cauliflower and sweet potatoes. In, done. Okay, you guys good? You can pause this video if you're a little behind, and that's the beauty of these YouTube videos because you can do that rather than the lives. All right, so I have my quinoa in here. I have 1 cup quinoa to 1 3/4 cups water. The recipe calls for double that, so 2 cups quinoa, 3.5 cups water. I'm cutting it in half because we're not going to be home as much this week. So do what works for you, but that is my quinoa trick, okay? Most packages say 2 cups quinoa to 4 cups water. That is way too much water and it will make your quinoa soggy and wet and gross. And nobody knows this amazing trick to perfectly fluffy quinoa other than me and you guys now because I share it with you. So this is the way to perfect quinoa. So always forget any of the ratios that it says on the package. Follow these ratios and you'll have the best quinoa every time. Okay? So quinoa's going, and that'll take about, take your lid off, bring it to a boil, and then once it's boiling, you're gonna lower it to a simmer, let it cook for about 10 minutes or so. You'll be good to go. All right, cauliflower we've done. Again, you could have added the garlic powder, turmeric, maple syrup. I omitted it today, but you could add that. Next, we're gonna make a mint raita. And this is an Indian kind of sauce. It's really delicious because it has that tang from the sour cream. You could also use Greek yogurt here as well. I happen to love sour cream, and sour cream always reminds me of pierogies. And as a kid, we used to always have like either boiled or fried pierogies with sour cream. And there's something so comforting about that. Whenever I have sour cream, I'm reminded of pierogies. Is that random? Kind of weird. But now I really want pierogies. I think I have to order pierogies. Where do you buy pierogies these days? Like those Mrs. T brand. Do you guys remember that? Those were so good. So anyway, as I was saying, you could use Greek yogurt or you could use sour cream. I'm using a low-fat sour cream here. I have a little storage container. These guys are the best. These are also linked on my website, on my Amazon page. I love them. The La Parfait canisters. They close beautifully, they stack nicely. They also come with a little orange ring. So if you are doing, here I put it for this one. This one's gonna be like a wetter kind of dressing and I wanna be able to shake it. So I put this little orange ring on it and that makes sure it is completely airtight sealed so it doesn't spill. All right, my quinoa is boiling, lower to simmer. Let it do its thing. Meanwhile, we have our mint raita. So I'm gonna skip down to the sour cream portion. And these, this mint raita you're gonna use, you could use it in your nachos if you'd like, but it's mainly going to be used for your tiki bowls, okay? You're gonna love those bowls. I had them when I was in LA about a year ago. I was here for a photo shoot and oh my God, they were so good. I had it like in one of these little naan breads and it was just so stinking amazing. I had to come home and recreate it. And so I did. And you guys are the beneficiaries of it. You're gonna love it. Okay, so we have our sour cream here, as you can see. Follow along on your PDF for all the exact measurements. And if you're not yet a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Number one, we have a 1 month free trial. So you could literally get 4 full weeks of free access. So you could try it out with no strings attached, cancel anytime. You could cancel before your next, before you're actually set to be charged the following month. So 0 commitment there. And then also just think of it like a cookbook. Even if you didn't want to do a full prep every single week, just using some of these recipes or recipe inspiration, it's worth it. Like I'll spend like $30, $40 on a cookbook and you have like maybe 50 recipes at most. Maybe out of those 50 recipes, you use 5 or 10, and that's all you get. This, you could spend, if you buy the year subscription, it's $100 for the year. I always offer 20% off, so get in touch with me if you want that promo code. I'm happy to share that. And you literally get a full year's worth of content, brand new menu every single week, 8 or so new recipes every single week. So it's just so much more value than a cookbook that like sits on your shelf and you never get any use. You have no video tutorials and you have no community doing it with you. So, I mean, I don't have to tell you guys know. But tell your friends because it's just, there's so much value, it's crazy. All right, so we have our lemon. So this just should be like this tangy, yummy sauce that would go over all that yummy tiki bowl that I told you about. Salt and pepper in there. And there's also something so yummy about pepper in sour cream. So put that off to the side. Then I have, put this back over here. Quinoa still cooking, by the way, looking good. I have a nice amount of cilantro. I know, either you love it or you hate it. If you are in the hate it crowd, you could omit it or you could swap it out for parsley, that's fine. And then I'm also using mint, and the mint is classic here with Indian food, and it really goes beautifully. The cilantro and mint together, or parsley and mint together, it's like a really nice little marriage, so it won't taste like too intensely minty. And you could also adjust any ratios you want. So if you didn't want as much mint, just adjust it, okay? Taking off all these little stems. All right. And there's something so good just about banging out this meal prep. It's like, I always say it's almost like a group fitness because once you like put on your workout clothes, you know you're good to go and you're ready and like you're in that mindset. Once you do your pre-prep or you're shopping, you're in it, you're committed, and you're gonna get through it. And just knowing that you're gonna have the most amazing week and that your family is going to eat, you're gonna have lunches, you're gonna have dinners, you're gonna eat beautifully all week. It's just, it makes life so much easier. So as long as you could just get through the prep rally, which is like an hour of your time at most, you're good to go. All right, so, oh, it smells so good. Mint, cilantro together. If you wanted to do this straight up in an immersion blender, go right ahead. I'm just doing this by hand because honestly, it's good enough for me. All right, let me lower my quinoa a tiny bit. You don't want it bubbling over. So make sure it's on a low simmer. And someone once asked me, like, the rice never cooks properly, and the water always evaporates too quickly. And what I told her was there are different size burners on your oven. So be sure you're checking what size pot you're using and then how big your burner is. Because if you're using a huge burner, or like those ones that make your water, like your pasta water, boil super quickly, and using that in a tiny little pot, that's gonna just boil over so quickly. All right, so make sure that you're using an appropriate size burner for your size pot or pan, or just adjust the temperature accordingly, okay? Because you don't want that boiling over. All right, which is why when recipes say like lower to a boil or lower to a simmer or medium, you just kind of have to, it depends on what size burner you're using. I mean, there's so many variables when it comes to cooking that is why I try to teach you guys all these fundamentals so that you could just own your recipes in your kitchen space, because every kitchen is different, every oven's different. So I want to build that confidence in you to make you the most amazing chef so that you can adjust and know what works. Okay? Oh my God, yum. That smells so good. Okay, beautiful. If you want, you can taste it. No need. Probably really good, but you totally could. In fact, I always encourage you to taste if you can. Okay, so that is done. Mint raita. We have the lemon in there, sour cream, salt, pepper, cilantro, and the mint. Next, we're gonna do a mustard vinaigrette. This was a salad I used to make for my client when I was living out in the Hamptons 2 years ago. He would literally, I remember the first time he told me, can you make me a salad of heirloom tomato and Vidalia onion? And I was like, what do you mean? You're trying me to like chop up a whole onion for you with a tomato? Like, it made no sense to me. But once I tried it, it was so good and so addictive. And you could add lettuce and or basil to the salad or just leave it at tomato and onion, but it is so stinking good. So I highly recommend you try it. And it was all served with a mustard vinaigrette, just so basic, so simple. I make this salad dressing just all summer long. So I already have my vinegar in there. That's the white vinegar. I have my mustard in there. And now, squeezing some lemon. Just yummy, acidic. The mustard really helps emulsify the dressing, which means like keeping the oil and the vinegar together. I remember learning that from like Ina Garden forever ago. And it always stuck with me, but it's true. Mustard has this like magic to it that holds dressings together. It's really cool. Mayo does a similar thing. Okay, so quinoa's ready. As you can see, all the water has absorbed. Okay, that's how you know it's ready. Taking it off the heat for a minute, we let it sit there for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to quickly remove it to a storage container so that it doesn't sit for too long, because then it's gonna start getting mushy. And that's what we try to avoid with quinoa. We want like a nice, fluffy, dry quinoa. I hate like a mushy, wet quinoa. My biggest pet peeve. Like a wet quinoa. Ugh. Okay. Yum. This is gonna be your summer staple dressing all summer long. Okay, and the vinegar, we have our lemon, we have our Dijon, we got our salt and pepper. Beautiful. I always put my pepper at too big of a grind, then I end up like choking on a massive piece of pepper. So always just be wary of that, especially if you're serving to kids. You know, I don't want to choke on a piece of pepper, okay? So I'm just whisking in my olive oil. Again, I could just shake this whole thing together. Okay, how cute is that? Put a little piece of rosemary in there, just to season it a little bit. That's the whole thing, friends, okay? So easy. Seal that up, and because I have this little orange rim here, I don't even need to waste a fork. That was just super wasteful. Now it's another dish. You could just shake it and it will not spill. All right, beautiful. Next, let me grab a storage container for my quinoa real quick. Get that out of this pan. You, again, are going to have double the amount of quinoa. I've just reduced it by half, but feel free to Adjust any way that works for you. My kids love plain quinoa, but I just didn't think we were gonna get through the whole amount this week, so adjust accordingly. But by getting it out of that hot pot, you're stopping the cooking process, kind of like with a pasta, you know, like you pull it out of the water and you wash it with water, with cold water, you rinse it to stop the cooking process, or like blanching vegetables. Similar idea, except we're not washing it. But that is our perfectly fluffy, delicious quinoa. Pretty, right? And you see those little like white spirals that came out? That's, you know, it's cooked. Lovely, quinoa is done. Next, we're gonna make a quick bibimbap sauce. Bibimbap, kind of a fun name. And it's just a quick sauce. It's gonna go over those bowls, those like Asian-y kind of steak bowls. You're gonna love those. So I always recommend using low sodium soy sauce. I'm using full sodium, which tends to be so salty. I had it last night and I was kind of dying from the sodium intake. So adjust accordingly if you do not have soy sauce. I'm doing a little bit less than I recommended here because it's just going to be a little bit too salty for me. Sesame oil, toasted sesame oil. Make sure you get toasted, otherwise it doesn't have that flavor that you're looking for. Maple syrup. And then we're going to do a nice amount of scallions in here. And the scallions are sort of going to mellow out in flavor and season and flavor this whole sauce, okay? So we're gonna be using scallions to marinate our meat as well after this. So I'm just gonna bang out all the scallion cutting in one shot, okay? Because that is how we do. And this is where I like to give you all those little tips and tricks to save even more time through these videos. I don't necessarily write them in the recipes, probably should, but that's the fun of the video, is that I take you through it, show you all the tips and tricks on how to really get through it efficiently, and we get to do it together, which is so fun, okay? Run your knife through those scallions. If you want to save some scallions fresh for the actual serving, you can do that. I'm not. Just throwing it all in. Okay, so again, some of this is going to go in here. The rest of it is going to go in our marinade for the steak. Okay? So, boo. That's it. So this is our bibimbap sauce. If you want to add a little bit of vinegar to it, you 100% can. What did we put in here? Yeah. Okay, you totally could put some vinegar in it. It's totally your call. It's actually really good with a little bit of vinegar, but up to you. Taste it. It's really just like soy sauce and maple, okay? So you could do a little splash of either apple cider vinegar, rice wine vinegar. Totally your call, what you like. Add a little bit of acid in there, okay? So this is done. Let this sit, and this is gonna top your bowls that night. And now we're gonna do our marinated Korean steaks. Okay, so I have my steak here. So I said either get a flank steak or a London broil. My store did not have any. They only had a skirt steak. So if you are using a skirt steak, soak it in water for like 30 minutes or so, just to get rid of some of that sodium, because a lot of salt in skirt steaks. So try to soak it if you can. Okay, I'm gonna throw those scallions in there that we've already prepared. See, easy. Instead of having to do it twice, you do it once. Okay, and then very similar ingredients to our bibimbap sauce. We're gonna add some soy sauce. Again, I'm using a little bit less because A, I have a skirt steak, and B, my soy sauce is not low sodium. So adjust if you need. Little maple, then a little toasted sesame oil. Okay, and this is where I like to just like use the same ingredients as much as we can. We're already buying it. We already have it, so why not? Scallions we've already added. All that's left is 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm already thinking ahead. We need 5 more cloves for our adobo drumsticks. So I am going to just prep all of that in one shot. So move this off to the side. Okay, that's our bag of marinating meat. That meat you're gonna, once we get our garlic cloves in there, Just gonna pop it in the fridge. Whoa, that looked like one big clove, but it's like a million little babies. My God, tricky. Okay, there's a weird head of garlic. Okay, here we go. Let's find some goodies here. There's like a million little baby garlics here. What the heck, man? Ugh, I hate mini little garlics. I just want like one big clove. Okay. Wah. Good Lord. All right, let's see what we got here. So basically, I'm gonna end up with 5 or so cloves of garlic. So we have 1. We have 2. And we're banging this all out for both the adobo drumsticks and for our meat, okay? Here's 3. And yes, you can always buy the pre-peeled, ready-to-go garlic. I never think it's as potent or as good as fresh, but totally works, okay? All right. Get me up to like 3, 4. Oh, yuck. Not happy with this garlic selection today at all. Okay, here we go. Ugh, and the peels don't even come off. What is going on today? Okay, this is going away. Not a good head of garlic. That is when shopping yourself is helpful because you get to pick out the produce. All right, hang on. Calling in reinforcements. Here we go. All right. Much better. All right, here's what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. Big heads of garlic. Okay, here we go. 1. It doesn't have to be exact either, so any amount of garlic that you like works here. I happen to love garlic. You guys know that. Garlic snob. Okay, and let's do... Okay, done. Beautiful. All right. So, giving it a rough chop for some of it. Throwing it in here. The rest will be for our adobo. Just leaving it like this. Just kind of smashing it a little just to like get some of those juices out of there. And that's going to be for the adobo. So this guy is ready to go. As you can see, I have my meat in there. We got my scallions. You got the garlic. You got maple, soy sauce. Such good flavors. You don't need salt because you already have that soy sauce. Plus I'm using skirt steak, which is super salty, as I mentioned. So good to go there. All right, that's gonna sit overnight and I'm gonna cook it fresh for the next day. So that could go in the fridge. Next up is our adobo. So what you could do is marinate your adobo chicken overnight as well. So you don't have to actually cook it today. I'm just gonna cook it now and be done with it because I'm actually gonna serve it to my kids tonight. So either way, even if you wanted to just prepare everything in the pot that you're gonna ultimately cook it in, or you can marinate it in a bag, any way you choose to do it, it's great either way. So I have my little drumsticks in here, as you can see. We have the garlic I mentioned, and then we got more soy sauce. Adobo chicken is like my favorite thing in the world. It's that like acidic, yummy, super moist, like fall apart kind of chicken. It's the best. Okay, so we have our soy sauce and apple cider vinegar. And if you are not cooking this right away, don't let it sit more than 24 hours because the acid in the vinegar will start to like kind of cook your chicken, similar to like a ceviche. So marinate it for just 24 hours if you are planning on marinating it, or just pop it in your freezer and let it thaw out the day that you're actually gonna cook it so that it stops that cooking process. And then either cook it the next day, or if you're freezing it, cook it the day of if you're freezing it, because that's fine if it's frozen. Okay, so either cook it now fully, or you can marinate it in the fridge for 24 hours and then cook it after 24 hours. Don't let it go longer than that. Or marinate, pop in the freezer right away, cook it the day of, and thaw it, obviously. Okay, 3 bay leaves I've just stuck in there, garlic cloves, salt, pepper. Oh, I didn't even do salt because of the soy sauce. No need, just pepper. That's it. Okay, so you could let it marinate. And when it comes to like the kind of chicken that you're using, I'm using mostly drumsticks, but I also put some chicken breast in there as well because that's what Mike prefers. So you're making everyone happy. So use any chicken pieces that you like. All right, and then I just always recommend doing it only on the bone. It's much better on the bone. Okay, so we're just going to cook that along with some water. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of water, and that's going to give you more of like a sauce. Let it go a little farther. Let it come up the sides of your chicken a little bit more. Okay. And okay, I'm going to turn around a little bit. Just keep like flipping it. Make sure everyone's kind of coated in there, well adjusted. Make sure the bay leaves are in that liquid. Okay, so if you are cooking this or when you do cook it, just make sure everyone's kind of submerged in there, especially if you're using either extra chicken or larger pieces of chicken. If you're using larger pieces of chicken, you may need to adjust your serving, your cooking time a little bit. But just make sure that everyone's nicely nestled into that liquid. Okay, we're gonna bring this up to boil, lower to a simmer, and then we're gonna cook it covered for like 30 minutes. And then you're gonna turn everything again just to make sure that everyone is flipped over and fully submerged. Cook an additional 10 minutes, and then you're good to go. All right, guys, that concludes our prep. Let me go check our stuff in the oven. Let's see if anything's ready. It still says 15 minutes, so not ready just yet, but in about 15 minutes, cauliflower and sweet potatoes are gonna be done. We have our steak marinating. We have our chicken either cooking now or you can marinate it overnight. Our mustard vinaigrette that you're gonna love, our mint raita, our Bibimbap Sauce that you're gonna put over those bowls that you're gonna make, quinoa. You're set for the week, you guys. That is week 38. Hope you love this one. This was such a good meal prep. You guys requested that I bring it back, so super excited for you to either reminisce or to make this for the first time because you're gonna love it. All right, enjoy, follow along your PDF to see how this all turns into dinner all week long, but be sure to make it your own. Adjust, make it work for you. If you want something on Monday rather than Thursday, if you don't wanna make bowls, you wanna make sandwiches, do what works for you, make small modifications to make it work because that is how this plan works best. 32 minutes, we're out of the kitchen. Go enjoy your summer, you guys. Love you all.